Security Chief to new arrivals. Could have used you sooner, but welcome just the same. I'm in the mansion, command center. Injured, but intact. Most everyone else is, well, you've got eyes. Look, we need to get this situation under control ASAP. Be ready for anything. Ledger to Alpha. 3 Janus-signed staffers are missing somewhere in your AO. Locate and extract. Counting on their expertise to end this operation.
I'm spraying some rain. Big gun, little gun, I'll squeeze maximum pain from whatever you
People
get.
who lived here trusted us. We failed them. And I can't even explain how.
About fucking time someone dealt me a winning hand. Jerk me around, you're going straight in the wood chipper.
And Antoine absolutely loves his Tesla Model Y, but even though it's packed full of high-tech features, the South Shore resident can't stand driving.
Really? They are. It's lost that I don't like.
Y has a Tesla, his wife has a Tesla, and he was in the midst of ordering a Cybertruck. His love affair with the company founded by Elon Musk officially ended on Donald Trump's inauguration day. Musk, an infamous character that many describe as a Nazi salute.
That Nazi society, that was too much of it. Too much of it. And I canceled immediately my Cybertruck, and both my Tesla are actually up for sale now.
Like many, Bob was a big Elon Musk fan for years. Musk was the right turn. As head of the Trump administration's Department of Government Efficiency, Bob has been growing uneasy with tariff threats, state. Quebec has left engines not alone. Sales slumping in Europe, United Kingdom, Australia, and other markets.
Some Canadians, Quebecers, and even some U.S. people are doing the same thing.
Gad Elmosino of the Quebec Tesla Club argues that the company has thousands of brilliant employees, not just Musk. Says he won't deprive himself of a Tesla because of the CEO's views.
I've seen him do crazy things before that I was not comfortable with, but it really comes down to the product.
He thinks the anti-Tesla trend was accelerated by bumper stickers reading, "I bought this before."
Let's face it, me not buying a Tesla tomorrow is in no way to affect me personally, and no way going to change my behavior.
Well,
Disagrees.
it might cause a big movement. It's going to affect some people.
Yes, he's also canceled his Amazon, his Costco membership, and scrapped the trip to Disney World twice. Retirement on the horizon, he was thinking about buying a condo in Florida. Not anymore.
The clown is there. I will never buy in Florida.
He's in the midst of deciding which brand of electric car to replace his Teslas with. Dan Spector, Global News, St. Constant, Quebec.
I want to hear why, but do you think that calling Elon Musk a dick is effective messaging for confronting what is a potentially irreversible transformation of the U.S. government?
Well, he is a dick. And I think it's also harming the American public in an enormous way. And what I think is really important, and what the American public want, is for us to bring actual weapons to this fight. This is an actual fight.
I'm joined now by Congressman Robert Garcia. That was you during a hit with CNN, basically coming back to the whole civilian. Sorry, probably on Musk. This is the guy who right now is covering the federal government, slashing funding for Medicaid for folks with disabilities, for vital programs that offer HIV prevention, water, refugees, and on complete assessment. And yet, when you questioned about this during your conversation on Legacy Media, the focus was again back on this sense of decorum. Can I respond to that on the misguided focus, the misplaced focus in the moment that we're in?
Yeah, I think calling Elon Musk a dick is pretty kind, actually, considering everything he's done.
Right.
And I want to just go back one step. I mean, Marjorie Taylor Greene is the chairperson of this committee, this DOGE committee, which is a complete joke and disaster of a committee. And she was literally showing pornography in our just last year, in the same person. And so I brought my own dick pic, which was a picture of Elon Musk. And let's be really clear what he's doing. I mean, this idea that we're going to somehow now police ourselves when the other side will throw everything in the kitchen sink at the country, at working class people, at Democrats, and we're supposed to sit.
So he said this was the big one. That's the reciprocal tariffs that are going to apply to a number of countries now. This is the market right now on Wall Street trading just slightly lower. I mean, really just 0.10%. Okay, come on over here and I'll show you the board about what Trump did yesterday and kind of how the economic world reacted. So the announcement comes right around 2 o'clock and you see the big jump in the Dow. Maybe it stays there, maybe it doesn't. We'll see by day. The reason this did is because they're not immediate. Maybe they happen in a month or 2 months or 3 months. There was one date thrown out that suggested April 2nd the tariffs would be enacted here. This is what we talk about when we talk about reciprocal trade, all right? You got two countries, you got two business partners, essentially, all right? And they're in this deal where they got mutual tariffs, one for the other. They tax each other's goods. But when one feels that the other is not in fair trade, all right, you start to get retaliation, all right? And that's where Trump is at the moment. And then we measure the impact. Will the costs go up? He argues maybe in the short run, but in the long run, he believes more jobs will come back to the country and prices will go lower. That's Trump's argument now on the impact. And now we get to the negotiation stage, which really could happen at any point. Something very interesting here on the world map. I mean, there's a lot of numbers behind me. Just think about two numbers for the sake of this argument, all right? The deeper the red, the higher the tariff charge. The lower the color, the lower your number. 9.6 is like 3%. I mean, globally, that's just about as low as you can go. I look at countries like maybe Ethiopia or Iran, where you're up around 20%. But look at India. India's at 17%. And just yesterday, you had the Prime Minister there visiting the Oval Office, no doubt talking about this. Steve Moore, as well as Steve Morley. Trump's making the call. Go ahead and let him make the case about this. Roll it. Soundbite,
Warning.
Maybe big raise tariffs on an annual basis.
That's the most interesting question. I think it'll be a staggering amount. It will be the external, I call it the External Revenue Service. That was a name that was devised by a few of us, but I think it's going to be a staggering amount.
So he says short-term prices may go higher. Does that bother you, Steve?
I don't like inflation, and you don't, or nobody likes inflation. So first of all, let me commend you. I thought your analysis was excellent, Bill, about what is being proposed here. You've known me a long time. I'm a free trade guy. I'm a guy who believes that tariffs are a good thing for the United States. And so I don't like, for example, the steel tariffs. I think steel tariffs are a bad idea. But what Trump is talking about here is a brand new kind of paradigm on trade. And he's simply saying, look, as your map shows, Bill, we have the lowest tariffs in the world. So we're down here, and the rest of the world's way up here. And so he's saying to these other countries that have to trade with the United States before they have the real economy, either you lower your tariffs or we're going to raise our tariffs to your level. Now, that is something that I think Trump is going to win this fight, because I think at the end of the day, Bill, and I'm not certain about this, but I think this is the way this is going to work out, is guess what? China and Japan and the UK and the Europeans with very high tariff rates are going to be forced to lower their tariffs on America, and that will be a good thing for everyone. And incidentally, at the end of the day, if this works out, we will have freer and fairer trade all over the world.
Okay, so we'll see how it goes. You mentioned it for a second. That was put out there by Harvard Bank, so we'll see if that's the case. And you're right. I mean, honestly, you can start negotiating this weekend with some countries if you want to. Wall Street Journal, tariff stress tests, markets rally as he delays reciprocal levies, but they'll be back. And speaking of coming back, Hakeem Jeffries is coming for Trump. He's coming for guys like you, okay? Here's his argument from the Democratic side.
Republicans repeatedly promised to lower the high cost of living in the United States of America. Yet they have failed to do a single thing to lower housing costs, lower grocery costs, lower insurance costs. In fact, inflation is going up under this administration. And Republican complete government is not going down.
So it is mid-February. And we know what the Trump team's saying. They're saying this is Biden's inflation. What's the window, Steve? How much time does the administration have right now?
Well, what Hakeem Jeffries said was truly laughable, because the 3 months, it's true that the inflation rate is creeping up. And I've been saying this for 6 months, Bill, that watch out for inflation, because where did the inflation come from? I want to remind people, the inflation came from the $7 trillion spending spree under Joe Biden. And they printed all this money and deluged the American economy with cheap money, and the prices went through. Now, the last 3 months of the Biden presidency showed that inflation is going up again. Trump wasn't even president. Hakeem Jeffries when the inflation went up. You're talking about what happened under Biden, not Trump. Now, I believe the reason they call economists like myself, Bill, a surprise hider, like you have, you have Arthur Laffer and Larry Kudlow and others. And we want to increase the productive capacity of the United States so we produce more goods and services so prices will fall. Now, think about this. We're going to cut taxes. That's going to increase production. We're going to produce more oil and gas and coal and nuclear power. That's going to reduce energy prices. We're going to regulate the economy. All those things are going to bring inflation down and up. And we know that's going to work. The inflation rate was 1.9%, not 9% like we had under Biden.
The Trump administration has a brand new target as it slashes through the federal workforce. Officials are now advising federal agencies to fire probationary employees who have been on their jobs for less than 2 years. That's before civil service protections kick in. The Washington Post reports that the mass layoffs were delivered through pre-recorded videos and on group calls.
Some employees were ordered to leave the building within 30 minutes. Others were told they would be formally fired by email, but the email never arrived. Let's bring in NBC News senior White House correspondent Garrett Haake. Jonathan Capehart is a member of the Washington Post editorial board and the host of MSNBC's Weekends with Jonathan Capehart. Garrett, do we have any idea how many people this could impact?
Only broadly, Chris. I mean, we know there will be many thousands of people ultimately laid off, but how many is a bit of an open question, and some of this is by design. The process is totally opaque, and it varies by agency. You can be a probationary employee in an agency like the CIA or somewhere in the intel community, or perhaps in a field related to immigration enforcement, where you might even get a notice that your position is being eliminated, but the administration actually wants to try to keep many of those people on. They don't want to cut people from national security roles, from immigration enforcement roles, and from other positions that are exempted throughout the federal government. All of this leaves us and these thousands of federal workers across the government essentially checking their email inbox periodically to try to figure out if they are caught up in this. And some of this is just sort of based on the ad hoc nature of the process here, but some of it is also by design. The White House has been pretty clear. They want to act fast. They want to break things. And Elon Musk even said the other day that they will at times go too far and have to claw some of these things back. So I think we're all going to be chasing this down in real time as these notices in different formats go out from agency to agency.
Yeah, I mean, Jonathan, when you look at these firing and how they were conducted, I wonder if you're hearing anything about workers in D.C. questioning whether they're going to keep working for the federal government.
Well, I know in the Washington Post story in the paper today, the story on these firings or the laying off of the probationary workers, it ends with one woman who got one of these emails saying that she is done, and she asked her supervisor, "Does that mean that I should keep working on the project she was working on? Should she finish?" And her supervisor said, "No, you don't have to." I think, Chris, what we're seeing here is the federal workforce being part of a game of sorts, and by game I mean what President Trump is doing via Elon Musk is stretching the limits of executive power. He is doing lots of things that none of his predecessors has ever done. Things that are being tied up in the courts because there's a lot of questions about whether any of this is legal. And yet he's trying it. And we will see through these court cases whether these federal workers who are caught up in the middle of this, whether the President of the United States will be found having the ability to carry out these firings, these layoffs, these buyouts of workers.
One of the things that's talked about a lot, in politics certainly, but also in business, any place where people work, is the importance of building a bench. I mean, if you're looking at a cost-benefit analysis, you're obviously immediately cutting costs, or at least cutting costs after you pay them, some of them, for 7 months or whatever it is, versus, though, long-term expertise building. Right, Jonathan?
Yes, no, that's exactly it. I mean, there's so many things happening here. They're trying to reduce, quote-unquote, waste, fraud, and abuse, excess fat, all of the pejorative ways of thinking about federal workers. And what we, the American people, are going to find out in short order, if we're not finding out already, is that these federal workers go to work every day and they bring their experience and their expertise, a lot of them built up over decades. You cannot replace that. And in the end, in order to backfill positions that are now empty, you're going to end up spending money. And we haven't even had that conversation yet about when something happens and an agency finds that it doesn't have a person, no longer has the person who knows how to do X, Y, or Z. You're going to have to find that person. And the difficulty will then be, who would want to work for the federal government after this experience?
In the meantime, attorneys general in 14 states have filed a lawsuit arguing that the Trump administration violated the appointments clause of the Constitution by granting sweeping powers to Elon Musk, arguing that he has, quote, transformed a minor position that was formerly responsible for managing government websites into a designated agent of chaos without limitation and in violation of the separation of powers. I mean, look, a lot of pushback from Musk's efforts have come from outside of Washington. There are at least
38 past the hour new developments in the reshaping of the federal government by President Trump and his allies. Overnight, the Veterans Affairs Department announced it has let go of more than 1,000 employees. Also overnight, a federal judge ordered the Trump administration to unfreeze foreign aid spending that President Trump had suspended. This comes as Elon Musk, who runs the Department of Government Efficiency with Doge, says it's time to, quote, delete entire federal agencies.
We do need to delete entire agencies as opposed to leave part of them behind. Because if you leave part of them behind, it's easy. It's kind of like if they're leaving a weed. If you don't remove the roots of the weed, then it's easy for the weed to grow back. But if you remove the roots of the weed, it doesn't stop weeds from ever growing back, but it makes it harder.
As Musk made those comments, 14 states filed a lawsuit against President Trump, Musk and Doge, saying Musk's authority at Doge is unconstitutional. With us now is New Mexico Attorney General Raul Torres, one of the lead plaintiffs in that lawsuit. I thank you very much for being with us this morning. What's the premise of your lawsuit?
Well, we keep hearing from our constituents who ask every single day how an unelected billionaire has access to their private information, how he can cut off payments to American farmers, how he can propose to delete entire federal agencies. And the short answer is he can't. It's unlawful. It's unconstitutional. And the lawsuit that we filed yesterday is centered on the appointments clause. It is really a centerpiece of the separation of powers that's built into our governmental structure to make sure that the control of the federal government is not placed in the hands of a single unelected, unvetted person like Elon Musk.
So, but Elon Musk was put in there by President Trump, who was elected. Tell me a little bit more about the appointments clause. What is that and the impact of that?
Well, I think you hit on exactly a very important point. This all stems from President Trump's misunderstanding of the nature of the presidency. He seems to think it operates more like a monarchy than a president that operates within strict limitations of a constitutional republic. The president doesn't have the authority to take someone, put them in charge of the digital services office in the executive branch, which was formerly responsible for making sure such important things as websites worked and information technology systems worked, and convert that into a department of everything, and place at the head of that department someone who has not been submitted to the advice and consent process of the United States Senate. Now, the president may think this is a demonstration of his political strength. It's actually a sign of his weakness. He has allies in control of Congress. He has a legitimate constitutional avenue for changing and reshaping the executive branch, but it requires the difficult process of persuading the representatives in Congress to enact that policy. If he is unable to do that because they are not going to buy into the drastic cuts, the deletion of federal agencies, then that's a limitation on his power that is a feature of our constitutional system, not a defect.
And so what is your state's legal standing in this?
Our citizens have been hurt, but the state itself has been hurt. We have seen cuts to and disruptions in services to a number of programs that are impacted by Doge's activities. We have serious concerns about the impact to the privacy interests of our citizens. And when we share information with the federal government for the purposes of the distribution of federal resources, we do so with an implicit understanding that that information will be safeguarded and that somebody like this is not going to have access to information or the authority to initiate dramatic and unprecedented changes to the way in which the government functions. Mr. Musk comes from a place where the motto is to move fast and break things. That doesn't work for the government. It's dangerous, it's stupid, and it's unconstitutional.
New Mexico Attorney General Raul Torres, thank you very much for being with us today. Appreciate it.
Elon Musk, you may have illegally seized power over the financial payment systems of the United States Department of Treasury, but you don't control the money of the American people. The United States Congress does that.
Our next guest, Democratic Congressman Jamie Raskin of Maryland, says he has a new legal theory for how Americans can sue Elon Musk. Congressman Raskin, transition.
Welcome, Congressman. I'm loving this theory. It's very interesting take. Explain it to us, how citizens can sue.
In the meantime, Republicans seem to be all on the same page, at least for now. Axios reporting that GOP leaders in both chambers on Capitol Hill vow to turn DOJ's spending cuts into real legislation. Someone that's going to have try to get that done is Senate Majority Leader John Thune. Great to have you in studio with us today.
Thanks, Dave. Nice to be with you, Bill.
I'm curious about the calls that you get from home into your office about Doge.
Well, I mean, at least by and large, people are very supportive, and we are too. I mean, this is a scrub that's long overdue. There are so many systems in our federal government that are antiquated, people operating in silos, bureaucracies built upon top of bureaucracies, and modernizing our federal government using
So a billionaire hedge fund guru warns Trump's tariffs are harming us. Okay? This isn't just anybody saying this, by the way. This is Ken Griffin, founder of Citadel and a Republican supporter, warned that Trump's tariffs create an uncertainty and chaos that hinder economic growth, making it difficult for multinationals to plan long-term. Speaking at a UBS group conference, he criticized Trump's bombastic rhetoric, stating, "It sears into the minds of CEOs and policymakers that we can't depend upon America as our trading partner." Griffin, who has donated millions to the Republicans, but not directly to Trump's campaign, believes tariffs could increase the U.S. deficit and make domestic companies less competitive and productive. Trump's tariff policies are causing businesses to struggle with supply chain and pricing, with Griffin pointing out that Canada's energy sector may now turn to China instead of the U.S. Trump imposed 25% tariff on steel and aluminum imports without exceptions or exemptions, and 10% tariffs on all Chinese goods, while threatening Canada and Mexico. Griffin warns that these moves could force U.S. allies to form new trade alliances, saying the damage has already been done. Tom, do you agree with them?
It's hard to disagree with Ken Griffin's argument the way he's putting it. But I think also he's getting out in front. And what he's getting out in front on is about the disruption. The market jumps up, the market jumps down. The market jumps up, the market jumps down. But the market hasn't had permanent change related to tariffs, nor have we had economic statistics that we can point to related to tariffs. But we have had a market that's been jittery, a stock market. Okay, well, he's saying that's uncertainty and chaos. Okay, Ken's right. And he says planning for long term. What does a hedge fund manager want? A long-term predictable market so they can make their hedge bets. So he's in the business of doing that. So you could translate it this way. Hey, my business needs a little bit of stability and long-term point of view. That helps me run my business. My business is pretty effing big, and I touch a lot of this economy. So I would imagine you all want me to have a long view and some predictability. That's part one. And then part two, along with the long run predictability, what Griffin is saying is, hey, you don't want any of this temporary stuff to cause someone to make a spontaneous decision about a trade partner. You don't want them to think, oh gosh, this stuff's going to be bouncing around for a while. They're going to make different decisions. What he's really saying there, I don't think he's being completely altruistic about the United States. I think what he's saying there, hey, I'm making hedge bets, and I know who the bets I make
who they're depending on for suppliers. I know who they're depending on for partners. And if you mess that up, it's like suddenly telling me there's 61 cards in the deck rather than 52. Ah, crap. What are the other 11? Is there more aces, more jacks, or a bunch of twos and threes? I think that's what it is. So I don't disagree with Ken Griffin at the core. However, I think when you break it down, what he's really saying is that in the short run, you're bumping things up and you're saying a bunch of things. I don't want people to make long-run decisions based on short-run chaos. But I think deep inside, Ken Griffin knows what's going on here. He knows exactly that these are tactics, not taxes for the long term, but he doesn't want people to make short-term decisions that affect him. Adam.
I think Ken Griffin's sort of spot on, and we're all rooting for Trump. We all want the best for the country. We all want to know what's going on, but it's almost like the yin-yang theory. What goes up must goes down. Everything's interdependent. So if you're going to do things, and from a negotiation standpoint, to throw off foreign governments, whether it's China, whether it's Canada, whether it's Mexico, withdrawing from the Paris Climate Accords, withdrawing from everything, tariffs, you're going to create uncertainty for foreign governments. That's great. But you're also going to create uncertainty for domestic corporations and consumer sentiment. So just like you're throwing people off from a negotiation tactic, from a foreign standpoint, you're also going to throw people off from a domestic standpoint. So like Tom said, the markets like certainty and they like predictability. There's something called the VIX, right? The Volatility Index, which basically shows like how crazy is the world going right now? Is the world certain? Is the world uncertain? We know about the Fear Greed Index. But while you're negotiating with these foreign governments and over tariffs, there's a lot of domestic corporations and companies that are like, all right, like, well, we don't know what to do because they need to price in future risks and price in future tariffs, and they're not necessarily sure what to do. From a consumer standpoint, people like stability, people like clarity, and there might not be a lot of that right now. So basically, if you're disrupting foreign governments, you're also disrupting some of the domestic.
But let me tell you on a part where I don't know if I agree with Ken Griffin, and here's the part.
Weeks before the election, but I think there's also something to be said. I read that there's something to be said for what they were doing. It looked to me to be very political. But why did they bring this up like 4 or 5 weeks ago, 6 weeks ago, whatever that? They just sat around and didn't complain. Then all of a sudden they complain, and they know they're all being dismissed anyway. So, the way it is. That's called politics, I guess. Yeah, please. I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow at 12 o'clock. It was up to me. I'd take a very hard stance. I can't tell you what Israel's going to do. But I watched the last people come out, and I looked at it before and an after picture. One guy was a big, strong, healthy guy. You could say he was a little bit overweight. Not overweight anymore. He looks like he just came out of the Holocaust. He looks like a Holocaust victim. I've looked at him for a long time. And they've been treated very badly. A young lady came out last week. Her hand was blown off. I mean, literally, her hand was trying to stop a bullet that was headed for her face. She put up her hand. She goes like this and wiped out her fingers and bottom of her hand. No, I would take a different stance. But it depends. Look, it depends what Bibi's going to do. It depends what Israel's going to do. And now I understand they've totally changed. Hamas has totally changed. They want to release hostages now again. But you have to see, this started by them saying, we're not going to release the hostages as we said we were. I said, good. You have till 12 o'clock on Saturday, which is tomorrow at 12 o'clock to do it. And we didn't hear anything. Then all of a sudden, 2 days ago, they said, no, we've decided we're going to release the hostages. So, but I actually think they should release all of the hostages. Remember, they're probably as bad as they look. I mean, I don't like to say that, but they look real bad 4 days ago, 5 days ago when I saw them. And the young ladies that came out were treated really bad. You don't know what happened, but I do. They were treated really badly. But as bad as they look, the ones that follow probably will look a lot worse. I think they're sending out their most healthy.
and they've been hit hard on that, Hamas. So they probably didn't want to release him. But they obviously changed him, and I said 12 o'clock tomorrow, and all of a sudden 2 days ago, yesterday, they said they're going back to release him. But this all started by them saying, we are not going to release any more hostages. And then yesterday they said they are going to release the hostages. But I think they should release all of the hostages. Look, that 75,000 working for really bad, and nobody knows what that final number is. Because in the end, I think a lot of people aren't going to show up to work. A lot of people, they got used to staying home and quote, working. But, I wonder if they had other jobs and other things. They have a lot of problems with that. No, 75,000 is a lot of people. And we paid them well. We gave them a lot of months of severance pay for all of them. But, no, I think we probably have some more division. It's a big, tremendous saving, but we want to downsize government but make it better. Run it better, but downsize. Yeah. I just signed a letter to him. He asked for a meeting, and I agreed to the meeting. We're going to have a friendly meeting, because we have a lot of good things going on. But he asked to come and see me, and I just accepted his asking. Very soon. I think he wants to come next week or the week after. I don't know. It was his request, not mine. But I met him twice already. We get along very close. Very nice guy. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thank you, Brian.
Thank you. Thank you, Fred. Thank you, Fred. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
Security chief, the new arrivals. Could have used you sooner, but welcome just the same. I'm in the mansion, command center. Injured, but intact. Most everyone else is... You've got eyes. Look, we need to get this situation under control ASAP. Be ready for anything.
It's a great way to spend what is today, Wednesday? Great way to spend a Wednesday night. Dude, what is good? We are back with another video, more specifically, another car video video. I know y'all have been requested that I take the whips out and mow some of the enemies, do another nighttime drive, or just car video in general. And now that I am back in Arizona, I'm here to provide it to you. So tonight, with you, the homies and I are going to take some of the whips out and just kind of drive around. I think we might go do this little mountain cruise and then smoke some cigars. We're just going to kind of fuck around with the whips, just have a fun night, drive around. So please, you guys will need some banger ass video. Probably have some crazy whips tonight. So definitely worth staying through the whole video. Without further ado, I'm going to hop in the M3 and we're going to video with the boys.
Sorry you came here yet. Well, if anyone had to show up, I'm glad it was you.
This thing needs to wash fast, bro. But I haven't had time to wash it ever since I got back from Miami, so now I'm just gonna have to
Got the hardware. God knows
things
I've
that I
got
would
training.
do tomorrow. I did get word though, yesterday today that they should be getting the check from the insurance within the next couple of days. Then from there they just have to order the parts, wait for the parts to come in, and like we can actually do the rebuild then. So hopefully we have the Aventador back within like a month or two, or even by then I'm going to be moved to Miami because I'm moving to Miami March 1st. So even by the time I move to Miami, then I'm going to get the Aventador back, and it's like, how am I supposed to enjoy the Aventador and like all of what the Aventador has to offer in Miami traffic? But it is what it is. We're going to make it work. I'm just excited to get the Aventador back. But without further ado, let's put this in M2 and let's go link up with Don.
I have stuff going on that doesn't involve dealing with your petty bullshit. Well, look at that! Did someone sand down your rough edges?
It honestly feels really good to get out of the house and actually go do something, because pretty much the last couple of days have been nothing but just like sitting inside and grinding, just working on new shit for the agency. Other than, I guess, over the weekend, I went to base tournament, which has been like tournament here, teacher on an extra ticket as we pull up, so I decided to go. But other than that, pretty much just been sitting in the crib, just fucking trudging and working, which is honestly good. Ever since I came back to Arizona, I've had a great routine, just getting hella work done. So it feels really good to get all that work done, but now after getting pretty much nothing but just work for the past couple of days, it feels very good to get out of the house and actually socialize to something. Like I always say, it's really just about balance. Balance is key. You gotta have a healthy balance between work and between life and having fun.
Double points.
Shit, I'm out of a shield. Looks like there's a cop that's got someone pulled over up here.
This is one way to put a shit-eating grin on my face.
Don't want that to be me.
Watch your six. There's gotta be
I always do that, bro. Whenever I'm filming and driving, I always accidentally stick my camera. So hopefully it wasn't too big.
Max ammo.
Also, guys, I know that one, my check engine was down because my graphics were exhaust, and two, I know my stickers are proper, and I still have not been able to get it to where the red line is not at 3K. So the red line, when you start finding red, that's at 3K RPMs, when obviously 3K RPMs is not red. So I don't know how to fix it. That's really up to you have to reprogram it. I think you might have to plug it into the RPM with the lights properly. So whoever did it before me did not do it properly. So that's not good stuff. That could bother me. It probably bothers you guys, so I apologize. If anyone knows how to reprogram it, let me know down in the comments below.
Hey, over here, you dead fuck!
That so winning live to build trucks. You're at this hotel waiting for me. I think the plan is that we're gonna drive. And smoke cigars. So I don't totally know what our plan here is, but we're about to see what we're gonna get into. The talk was shooting guns, cigars, and driving. So I don't totally know, but we're about to find out. Oh, dude. Holy shit. This hotel's popping. Bulls, Porsche, Benz, Ferrari. Hella nice cars here tonight. Oh. What the plan is? Huh? Oh, Wisconsin. Oh, you got my He's good, bro. He's good. Yeah, I'm sure today. I'm moving out there. How much?
Calling is why I wake up in the morning.
I thought you were talking about the light. But I've seen that coming. got 2 McLarens, high cost.
Stop.
Looks like we're gonna go shoot some guns. They told me we were gonna go shoot guns. I completely spaced bringing my AR to the block. I don't know why I didn't grab them. I kind of just forgot to grab them. But they have some guns that I can shoot. So it looks like we're gonna go shoot somewhere. Alright, it looks like I'm gonna drop my car off because honestly I don't really feel like driving it and ride one of the McLarens. I feel like that'll be better content anyways for you guys. And not have that, I just don't really feel like driving, so like they said, if it doesn't give her a heart attack, oh yeah, dude. Not on this like California healthy ass eating bullshit. This shit actually inspired. The ass eating bullshit. This shit actually inspired. How's your cane, man? What? How's your cane? Better than some dog shit ass flower child. Oh, you're opening the door for me? No, I forgot about that. Oh, I wait, what you doing, huh? This dude, bro, didn't want to eat Burger King because it was healthy. So he drove 15 minutes out of the way to change. Yeah, right? I told him, I'm getting special treatment. Bro, the exhaust out of the top is on fire. Is that a couple? I've never raced one. First time. Why I open the door, you know you don't know how to do it. Yeah. The E-hole is a fire feature. Oh yeah. Fire by Caleb. What's the class? What are you at?
I'm gonna smell like blood for days.
Nice to get on the freeway. Alright.
Max armor.
Quick little gas pit stop here. I gotta drive my bed. So wherever the hell those are. Looks like they don't have Arizona. This will have to do. Can we do that? It's for real. Oh, big ass donut, huh? Do you like donuts?
I do.
Fire. That's a really big one. I do not have donuts. No. Thank you so much. You have a wonderful night. Chat, I don't know. Oh, I don't know how to open my door, bro. Pretty sure there's a button somewhere in here. It might be locked though. I don't know. I don't know how to open this shit, bro. I saw this donut, this mega donut, bro. I had to get it for her on some troll shit. I got you a gift, bro. I got you a gift. Bro, what the fuck do you think? It's a mega donut. We should donate them. That's someone. Alright, let me put it. I'll hold it. Princess treatment. Hang on. Let me. I'm gonna pass the donut.
Now that's fucking crowd control.
Hey, you know what's serious?
Sunshine's the best disinfectant. So I'll let some into your skull.
This car is thick. 600 LPs goes.
Snooze, you lose. Exfil window closed.
I don't know how you
Max ammo.
We got the massive donut. I forgot to buy. But I ate like half of it. You know, I know you want it though. I can't. I'm taking more bread. I can't eat the frosting with. That's what most funny. No sugar, so just eating the bread off the top.
Best deal I'm gonna get in this hellscape.
They don't want to shoot guns. I forgot my guns. And I didn't have food protection, so we're kind of fucked. Yeah. Yo, we gotta shoot the dome.
If you kicked me in the balls right now, I wouldn't even feel it.
I gotta hold my ears while they shoot because I don't have ear protection, so we're about to start going up. Type of shit. Okay, that felt this fun. Oh shit. That's true. It's so funny.
Target watch like that for 8 years.
Oh shit. That actually fire started out. True. I got. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Whew. Feel like my old self again, instead of just old.
What time? Where? Oh. Oh. That shit's bright. Yeah. Right. Oh. It's a great way to spend minutes today. Wednesday night.
Hey, shitbags! How's that light up your afterlife?
Alright, I'm tilted.
Grenade still standing by? Because I sure could use one.
Prepare for
I can go stuff my chamber though if you don't hit it. Yeah, I don't know if that's what it is. So, that. Shoot the fucking donut.
Alpha team, clear up the LZ or evac ain't happening.
Authorizing chopper gun to close in.
Looks pretty hairy down there.
Some of our guys are just rated fucking like we look back and the planet of the apes type shit.
You got 30 seconds to catch that ride.
Somebody tell Carver I just won our headshot contest.
Got a full house. We're out of here.
Have a radar? Oh yeah. Same thing, right? Yeah. Same thing. Maybe don't go quite that fast again. I accidentally clicked the record button twice, but he was going 90 or 1. Oh shit. That's quick. Yeah. McLarens are indeed fast. That's not even the fast one. Yeah, shit. What's the fastest car you have? The 765? Yeah. Fully carbon fiber, too. That shit is insane. I love how we think that's the joke. I don't know where I'm going. Oh, yeah, you don't even know where you're going. Oh, shit. Alright, boys. Looks like everybody's headed home, so I'm going to
Blizzard Falls. Population, well, less than yesterday. Never been so glad to see back on the ride. Hell, lucky I'm still in peace. I need you to look for survivors. Subdue any threats. Help me save this town. Fletcher to Alpha. Each assigned staffers are missing somewhere in your AO. Locate and extract. Counting on their expertise to end this outbreak.
Now there's literally nothing happening.
Gorgeous points.
Jackpot. Fuck it off.
All right, let's watch this. Here we go.
Psychologically, we can't really predict what is going to happen, and we've already seen it. We see it in the stock price. With the tariffs, U.S. states going to be able to come again.
What's the daily podcast? Yeah.
Vice President Collins's speech to the Parliament this speech on migration in Europe. Do you believe that European leaders have a fundamentally different?
We're going to watch that.
Well, I heard his speech. You're talking about JD's speech, right?
Yes, sir.
It's a great speech.
I heard his speech, and he talked about freedom of speech, and I think it's true in Europe. It's losing. They're losing their wonderful right of freedom of speech. I see it. I mean,
he's right.
Well, he made a very good speech, actually, a very brilliant speech. Yeah. And Europe has to be careful. And he talked about immigration. And Europe has a big immigration problem. Just take a look at what's happened with crime. Take a look at what's happening in various parts of Europe. I thought the speech was very well received, actually. I've heard very good remarks.
Well, yesterday you mentioned black people's aspirations were one of the main reasons that the war was Paris.
Well, I think this. I think that there are a lot of people to blame. All I can say is very simply, if I were president,
why would you ask that?
That war would never have happened. And you know what else would
Wouldn't that just make things worse?
Blown up, and October 7th wouldn't have happened either. Those two areas, you wouldn't have inflation, you wouldn't have October 7th, you wouldn't have Russia and Ukraine fighting. None of those things would have happened if I were president.
Loaded question? Yeah.
Yeah, please.
You mentioned all the tariffs. When do you plan to
how would I say over the next, sometime maybe around April 2nd. I would have done them on April 1st. Believe it or not, I'm a little superstitious. No, literally, I had planned for April 1st. I said, let's make it April 2nd. You know how much money that costs? That costs a lot of money just that one day. But we're going to do it on April 2nd, I think. Is that right? That's right. Okay?
Yeah, the lead prosecutor in Eric Adams' case resigned today, saying that he did press forward in power. Would you react to that and to the overall implication that politics would play here?
Well, I don't know about it. I mean, obviously, I'm not involved in that. But I would say this, that if they had a problem, and these are mostly people from the previous administration, you understand, so they weren't going to be there anyway. They were all gone or dismissed. If not, they know on Tuesday they're all being dismissed. You know, the whole country is being, because what you do is you come in and you put new people in. So when you say resign, they're going to be gone anyway. But I know nothing about the individual case. I know that they didn't feel it was much of a case. They also felt that it was unfair with the election. Look, I would know that better than anybody because I was weaponized more than any human being in the history probably of the world. And I won the election.
More than Jesus?
States winning the popular vote.
Watch your six. There's got to be more goals.
Damn!
I was weaponized, and I was weaponized literally weeks before the election. But I think there's also something to be said. I read that. There's something to be said for what they were doing. It looked to me to be very political. But why did they bring this up like 4 or 5 weeks ago, 6 weeks ago, or whatever it happened? You know, they just sat around and didn't complain. Then all of a sudden they complained, and they know they were all being dismissed anyway. So, you know, that's called politics, I guess. Yeah, please.
Oh, yeah, I'm giving away the hostages.
I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow.
Oh, tomorrow's the big day.
It's up to me. I have to take a very hard stance. I can't tell you what Israel's going to do. But I watched the last people come out, and I looked at it before.
The Holocaust thing?
One guy was a big, strong, healthy guy. You could say he was just a little bit overweight. He's not overweight anymore. He looks like he just came out of the Holocaust. It looks like a Holocaust picture. I've looked at him for a long time. And they've been treated very badly. The young lady came out last week, her head was blown off. Literally, her head was trying to stop a bullet that was headed for her face. She put up her hand, she goes like this, and wiped out her fingers and out of her hand. I would take a different stance, but it depends what Bibi's going to do. It depends what Israel's going to do. But now I understand they've totally changed. Hamas has totally changed. They want to release hostages now again. But you have to see, this started by them saying, we're not going to release the hostages as we said we were. I said, good. You have till 12 o'clock on Saturday, which is tomorrow at 12 o'clock to do it.
Oh, boy.
And we didn't hear anything. Then all of a sudden, 2 days ago, they said, no, we've decided we're going to release the
What a
hostages.
surprise.
But
yeah.
I don't think they should release all of the hostages. Remember, they're probably as bad as they looked. I mean, I don't like to say that, but they look real bad 4 days ago, 5 days ago when I saw them. And the young ladies that came out with them, really bad. You don't know what happened, but I do. They were treated really badly. But as bad as they look,
yes.
ones that follow probably will look a lot worse. I think they're sending out their most healthy. And they've been hit hard on that Hamas. So they probably didn't want to release them. Obviously, they changed him, and I said 12 o'clock tomorrow, and all of a sudden, 2 days ago, yesterday, they said they're going back to releasing. But this all started then by them saying, we are not going to release any more hostages.
Uh-oh.
And then yesterday, they said they are going to release the hostages.
They will.
But I think they should release all of the hostages.
75,000 workers took this deferred resignation. It's a little bit short of the 5 to 10
I mean, does anybody doubt Trump would bomb them?
The rest of that number.
No, look, that's 75,000
Everybody knows what happened.
Knows what that final number is, because in the end,
yeah, of course
a lot of people aren't going to show up to work. A lot of people, they got used to staying home and quote, working. But, you know, I wonder if they had other jobs or other things. You know, they have a lot of problems with that. No, 75,000 is a lot of people.
Is there a way? Yeah, true.
A lot of months of severance pay and going to that. But, no, I think we have some more information. It's a big, tremendous saving program. We want to downsize government but make it better. That's what you take. I just signed a letter for.
That's the guy people are mad about.
Yes, for a meeting, and I agreed to the meeting. We're going to have a friendly meeting. We have a lot of good things going on. But he has to come and see me, and I just accepted his asking. It's very soon. I think he wants to come next week or the week after. To discuss. I don't know. It was his request, not mine. But
yeah, people are really mad at him.
Already. We get along very well. It's very nice.
In 2015 and saw that defense spending was below 1% from the previous conservative government. We started massively investing in defense, and we're on track to triple our defense spending between 2015 and 2030.
People are boycotting Elon Musk and they're selling their Tesla because Elon bad and Trump bad. You also have Canadians that are once again booing the American anthem. That's not good, and that's going to have very bad repercussions in the long run. Then you also have Canadian politicians that are calling for the death penalty, which is pretty interesting. And Justin Trudeau is peacocking, jumping off his chest, stand up to America. Along with a whole lot of other stories, including the prorogation, the court case, and how likely, like 99.9% likely that nothing is going to come of that. Sorry to burst your bubble. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video, everybody. Before we get into it, I do want to encourage you all to like button and subscribe if you think already does really help grow the channel. We got a lot to cover in this video, so let's just get right into it. Starting with this video that I posted yesterday on X. Breaking: Trump removes protection for Canada until it becomes a 51st state. It has 4.4 million views, which is absolutely insane. 6-minute long video. We're not going to watch it all. I did play this in yesterday's video. We're just going to play this tiny little clip here.
It's going down because Canada's in. By the way, Canada is just about the lowest payer. Also, just, you know, it should be that they are just about the lowest payer in NATO in addition to everything else. So Canada's really been taking advantage of it. If they had to pay just something less chance to be able to succeed as a country. And that's why I feel they have to be able to stay.
There you go. So it really seems like, I mean, Trump just keeps badgering Canada. He's picking on Canada more than he's picking on Mexico. That's not my bias, because of course, whenever you hear Canada as a Canadian, you're going to start ringing, right? It wouldn't be the same effect for Mexico because we're not Mexican, and it's just not the same effect, right? It's like if you drive a red car, all of a sudden you notice more red cars. But the reality, to quote a liberal, is that Trump is not picking on Mexico or other countries the way he's picking on Canada. We are actually a target of his, which is pretty interesting, which means that we might encounter something kind of crazy in the next 4 years. But in the meantime, we've got to deal with these reciprocal tariffs. So Trump put forward tariffs, Canada is responding, and Trump's saying, no, and he's doing reciprocal on the retaliatory with the initial tariffs. Yeah, it's all very confusing. A lot of moving parts. Let's take a look here.
So, let's move on to tariffs, the never-ending story. And today, Donald Trump signed an order imposing sweeping reciprocal tariffs on every country that charges duties on U.S. imports. And in this case, Canada was not the primary target. CNBC's Washington bureau chief, is here with us now. Joy, how's this going?
Cindy, President Donald Trump has been hyping this as the big one. We're listening to use his economic sledgehammer, reciprocal tariffs on countries around the world. If they charge us, Trump says, America will charge them. Now, he's ordered his advisors to calculate these new tit-for-tat tariffs and customize them country by country. And he'll also take into account a nation's quote-unquote behavior. The tariffs will be on pause until April. Here's what Trump said.
So let's get reciprocal tariffs. Reciprocal tariffs really fail.
Who will this hurt?
Sandy, look, first, Trump feels cheated. He says the U.S. is being ripped off, and let's not forget he needs tariffs to raise revenue to pay for those fees that he has promised all Americans. It's part of this negotiating. A flood of jobs will come back to America, even though economists warn over and over again that tariffs will drive inflation up. It's already spiking here, and consumers...
So the long story short is he's going to China, and he badgered India. He also met with the Prime Minister of India locally, and right to his face at a joint press conference, he said that he did reciprocal tariffs. And he said that, so it's banana. But all of this is smoke and mirrors. You know, Canada wasn't necessarily announced in the tariffs announcement. He did double down, triple down on the fact that he wants to annex Canada, and we wouldn't have to worry about our military budget. In fact, it would have 2%. Not to mention, towards the bottom, 5%. If we were able to state all of that goes away, if we join America. There still is not one single politician that has agreed or even hinted that would be a good idea. But let me ask you guys down in the comments, do you think it's a good idea? Yes or no? And then we've got the liberal boycott of Teslas. Okay, let's take a look at this.
Absolutely loves his Tesla Model Y, even though it's a high-tech feature. The South Shore resident can't stand driving it anymore. I like the car. It's not that I don't like. Juan has a Tesla, his wife has a Tesla, and he was in the midst of ordering a Cybertruck. But his love affair with the company founded by Elon Musk officially ended on Donald Trump's inauguration day, when Musk delivered the infamous gesture that many described as a Nazi salute.
Nazis, it's fine. That was too much for me. Not for me. I can't sell you Itri and my Cybertruck, and all of my Tesla are actually up for sale right now.
Like many...
So that's not the first time I've ever seen that. In fact, the first time I saw people boycott this was actually in person when I went to Vino for a couple of weeks ago with my family. I need to catch a ride to the other side of the
If you're full of booze, you'd be more helpful.
So they don't have Uber, they don't, I don't know, maybe they have a taxi service, but they have postal rideshare that you can use.
close to the west coast of Portugal. And this one guy in a Tesla picked me up, hippie guy, and I'm like, wow, this sat in the front seat, and he was going on and on about Tesla, and I've always been interested in it. I actually like the technology. I started with a van that had a lot of solar. My life was powered by solar. It's pretty attractive, like just battery powered stuff. I like it. And he said the first thing after I started getting all, you know, really excited about it. Tesla. He said, I got this before the Elon salute. I don't like his politics. I'm like, okay. Good to see you, man. For you, pal. So people are actually choosing to boycott Tesla, which is so funny to me because I just
fresh start for the order of the day.
But that's my opinion, folks. I'd love to know yours. I say sure that I like you. That's just me. Now let's take a look here at what's going on with
The era of PlayStation Store slop is finally ending. How's it going, everyone? As always, my name is Jimmy Champagne. This is PS Ready, my channel all about PlayStation. Still working on this camera angle, but, you know, I like standing up. I decided I did a couple sitting down, and I just forget what I'm saying when I'm sitting down. I can't move my arms and my body. So I'm standing up for the videos this week. In addition to that first topic, we're going to talk about how there's a new PS5 bundle coming that includes last year's Game of the Year, and we're going to go over everything that was announced in the State of Play. But yeah, let's jump into this first topic here, which is all about the end of slop on the PlayStation Store. So if you've been buying games on the PlayStation Store for a while, and I know you have because the vast majority of people